Okay, so we're back here to our class, and so let's go back to the cyber campus. And let me open up that up and go to make sure you're able to see it here. I have to sign in again because I've signed out. Log in, and go to vote, and make sure you're able to see this. So share screen. And please, would you please fill out these forms? So please vote on, see, it's all mixed up here a bit. So pro opening statement, and that's Gloria, and I was Con, of course. And of course, you have until the top of the hour to complete this. And then, where does it say Con opening statement? That's me. So I make sure you evaluate me, and go back to, and then rebuttal. And so rebuttal, you can see pro rebuttal here, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and con rebuttal as well. And con rebuttal conclusion, you can see there. And if we go back then to, and then pro conclusion. And so you can see the results there, the pro conclusion. And then also please vote on who won the debate, pro or con. And pro, so one person hasn't yet voted. So of course it's anonymous. All these votes are anonymous. So I don't know, I can't.
Should I vote too?
Yes, of course. Oh, you know, now you can't. You told me you didn't vote. So if you vote, I'll know who you, I know how you voted. Yeah, we all, the voting participants vote as well. So
Because I mean, if I
yeah, you don't, I'm not going to look at the rest though, because now I don't want to, well.
So I should vote.
Yeah. Okay, and then of course, grade the debate as well. You want to grade the debate. And grade the debate for pro, and then grade the debate for con as well. That's something I did. Grade the debate for debate, grade me and grade Gloria. And again, it's all anonymous, so I can't tell how people are voting, obviously. And so, and then, so, all right, so let's continue on with some other exercises here. And so, what do I have lined up here? I have a couple things lined up in terms of, well, let's go back to the notes. I mean, let me see here. So we have, not that, here we go. And we go to Europeanization and parties. And again, I have to stop share and then share the screen again. And go here. And okay, so we got to the close to the end here. Yeah, patterns of party competition. You can see here the end of permissive consensus. In other words, the fact that European integration has become a mass public affair, a mass public issue of concern, rather than a technocratic elite concern as it was for the immediate post-war era. Explains why it's become a topic in domestic internal politics within the European member states. And this is itself a result of Europeanization having a more direct and obvious impact on people's existence, people's actual social experience. And maybe it's also underemphasized the lack of a common adversary, right? Remember, we said earlier how during the Cold War, maybe the Europeans, certainly by the 1950s, no longer saw the Soviet Union as an intense, a dangerous threat as the Americans did, but still the Cold War was the dominant overarching organization of world politics at the time, for good or bad. And so this shared perceived adversary in the form of Moscow and its the communist client states that it imposed upon, often cruelly, typically on the people of Poland and Bulgaria and Romania, the 110 million people that lived in Eastern Europe under communism until communism collapsed. that served as an incentive for people to cooperate with each other for good or bad. And we see again, the significance of the Cold War needs to be emphasized because again, as I've said, in the last 2 months with the war in Ukraine, we're seeing supposedly an increase in European integration and European cooperation, I should say. Even involving Poland under the Law and Justice Party is being a strong advocate of European solidarity in response to Moscow and its invasion of Ukraine. Even though at the same time, other people have pointed out, the Law and Justice Party in Poland continues to, in its different government levels in Poland and in the cities and provinces, and also in the different branches of the Polish government and the judiciary, is still not following European Union directives. It is continuing to supposedly, according to some people, disobey the European Union directives to Poland to stop undermining the autonomy of the judiciary. But that may be true, but the point is that everybody's attention is now focused on this war in Ukraine and Moscow's behavior there. So the perceived challenge of Euroscepticism in Poland seems to have become a marginal issue in the concern of peoples in Brussels who are more focused on, well, we have to show solidarity in dealing with this Russian challenge. So we're not going to complain so much about what Poland is doing with regard to LGBTQ rights. We're not going to complain so much about what Poland is doing in not transitioning away from coal economy because we have this energy crisis due to the Ukraine war. So that should not be, I think, underemphasized in terms of understanding the significance of the international environment in international political system in shaping the European integration. So, but back to these notes, and parties expressing deep-seated frustration with European Union, particular member states, have had some phenomenal political successes. The European Parliament elections in 2014 and 2019 witnessed the highest levels of support ever achieved for Eurosceptic parties in the European Parliament. And of course, we all know about the 2016 UK referendum to leave the European Union in favor of Brexit was further evidence. Important differences are apparent in the broad trends that have emerged in the politicization of European integration because of the differences among the member states. The different party systems in each member state determine the context in which Eurosceptic parties operate. So these party system contexts are differentiated by presence, the comparative scale and size and persistence of parties that express Euroscepticism, without some particular party expressing Euroscepticism, there can be no party politics of Europeanization. So that's a point, that's a positive point to make, right? That the fact that you do have Eurosceptic parties means we more fully understand what Europeanization means substantively. What's at stake? What does Europeanization mean? What are we aiming for when we're trying to create a European community? What are we aiming for when we're trying to gain European solidarity? What does that mean? What is the substance of that? Well, along with Eurosceptic parties, we have a dialogue adversary, interlocutor, to give expression to what these different terms mean in terms of political substance. We see competition between political parties. If there is substantive party competition, then the European issue will be contested. As I said, the establishment parties in Germany, for the most part, they all support European integration. It's the emergence of alternative far-right parties, like the Alternative for Germany party, that has contested this European integration, or Marine Le Pen's National Rally Party in France. But the establishment parties, of course, that emerged after the Second World War, they're supportive of European integration. They've always been supportive of European integration. So these Eurosceptic parties are are newer parties. And if significant political competition between parties regarding European integration exists. The question is whether it has a substantial consequences for politics within nation states. I would think it is, right? I mean, when you have the third biggest party in the German parliament basically being fenced off, it's there. Their members are there. They're giving speeches, but the other parties refuse to cooperate with it. How long can that go on? Same point is made with regard to Marine Le Pen and the National Rally Party in France, that the Republican Front, the establishment parties that all ally to contain the National Rally Party, how long can that continue? I mean, Marine Le Pen she lost last week, but she lost by half the percentage points that she lost in 2016 or 2017. She lost by 16 percentage points in 2017. Now she lost by 8 percentage points. Is France and the French government going to be able to deal with the challenges that France faces eventually to make this go down further or reduce further the level of support for Marine Le Pen? How long can you play a game of isolating and containing and quarantining these far-right forces? How long can you do that in Germany, in Italy, in France? I mean, remember a couple of years ago, Matteo Salvini in the League Party, he was getting ready to become the next prime minister of Italy. And then the establishment figures in the Italian parliament, Matteo Renzi and the other leaders in Italy maneuvered to marginalize him. But he was all set to become the next prime minister of Italy. And Matteo Renzi of the Socialist Party and moved to the Democratic Party, I should say, in Italy. They made an alliance with the Five Star Party. Okay, they pulled that off. They've kept Matteo Renzi out of government. How long can you keep doing that? Particularly when there's crisis after crisis after crisis, immigration, and then pandemic, and now the war in Ukraine. And who knows what the next crisis will be, but there will be another crisis. There's going to be a big influx of immigration in Italy as the world food system continues to be degraded now with climate change, but now also with the removal of Ukraine and Russia from the agricultural export markets or production markets. So how long can you continue this quarantine game? Okay, so that's where we have to stop now. And thank you very much. And see you Monday. Oh, your midterms are due tomorrow, right? The final draft of your midterm is due tomorrow. All right, bye.